White smoke rose from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, signaling that the Catholic Church had chosen a new pope. Thousands of people stood in St. Peter's Square, waiting anxiously for the announcement. Finally, the moment arrived. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines had been elected as the new leader of the Church. From this day forward, he would be known as Pope Francis II. His election marked a historic moment as the Church welcomed its first pope from Asia in centuries, filling the air with excitement and anticipation. As Pope Francis II stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, the crowd burst into applause. Flags from different nations waved proudly, and the people cheered his name. The energy in the square was palpable. As strangers embraced, tears of joy flowed, and a deep sense of unity filled the space. This was the beginning of a new chapter, for the Catholic Church, one full of promise, change, and a renewed sense of hope. Pope Francis II was a man known for his humility, kindness, and unwavering faith. His election symbolized a fresh start for the Church, a chance for renewal. Throughout his life, he had been committed to serving the poor, advocating for justice, and teaching the power of love and compassion. Now, as the Pope, he bore the weight of leading more than 1 billion Catholics worldwide, a responsibility he took to heart. In his first address to the world, Pope Francis II spoke with gentleness and strength. "My brothers and sisters," he began, "let us walk together in faith, hope, and love." His words rang out through the square, touching the hearts of those who listened. He spoke about the challenges the world faced: poverty, injustice, conflict, and the environment, and called on the Church to be a voice for the voiceless. His speech was more than just words. It was a heartfelt plea from a leader who deeply cared for his people. Pope Francis II emphasized the importance of peace, dialogue, and understanding. He called for building bridges between people of all faiths and backgrounds, fostering unity and mutual respect. His papacy, he made clear, would focus on creating a welcoming and inclusive church. "The Church is not a fortress," he stated. "It is a home for all, a place where everyone belongs." His words provided a beacon of hope for those who felt excluded. He urged Catholics to open their hearts to others, to welcome those who were struggling or different. His message was one of acceptance and love, a reminder that the Church's role was to serve and not to judge. Pope Francis II's path to the papacy had been one of dedication and compassion. Growing up in the Philippines, he had witnessed the hardships of the poor and had always been driven by a desire to help. As Archbishop of Manila, he tirelessly served the needs of the people, earning the respect and admiration of all who knew him. His leadership was characterized by humility and a deep commitment to justice, values that endeared him to many. Throughout his career, Pope Francis II had spoken out against corruption, greed, and social inequality. He was an advocate for the environment, urging everyone to care for the planet. As Pope, he vowed to continue these efforts, using his new role to inspire change and encourage world leaders to act with urgency and compassion. The world reacted with joy to his election, seeing in him a leader who could bring about much-needed reform. Catholics around the globe celebrated, believing his focus on social justice, interfaith dialogue, and environmental action would guide the Church into a new era. His emphasis on humility and service also won him admiration beyond Catholic circles, making him a respected figure worldwide. Pope Francis II wasted no time setting the tone for his papacy. He called on the Church to be more actively engaged with the world, to take a stand against injustice, and to offer support to those who were suffering. He urged priests and bishops to be more connected to their communities, to listen to the needs of the people, and to lead with compassion and understanding. His vision was of a Church that was open, loving, and responsive to the world's needs. His leadership was grounded in his faith. He believed that the Church should not only preach love but also put it into action. He reminded the faithful that their faith was not just about personal devotion, but about helping others. He urged Catholics to be peacemakers, to work toward reconciliation, and to practice kindness in all aspects of their lives. Pope Francis II also placed great importance on interfaith dialogue. In a world that was becoming more interconnected, he understood that different religions needed to cooperate for the common good. He reached out to leaders of other faiths, encouraging mutual respect and collaboration. His message was clear: unity and peace could be achieved if people listened to and understood one another. Another key issue he addressed was inclusivity within the church. He spoke of the need to welcome all people, regardless of their background or struggles. He reminded the faithful that Jesus had embraced the outcasts and that the church must follow his example. For many, his words were a comfort, a reminder that they were valued and loved. Pope Francis II's election was a pivotal moment for the Catholic Church. His leadership promised a renewed emphasis on compassion, justice, and unity. He sought to inspire a new generation of Catholics to live their faith with purpose and courage. His vision was of a church that actively worked to make the world a better place for everyone. As his speech continued, Pope Francis II encouraged Catholics to be agents of change. He urged them to stand up against injustice, to support the vulnerable, and to be a source of light in a dark world. His words carried a sense of urgency, reminding everyone that love, kindness, and hope were needed now more than ever. The historic moment of his coronation marked the beginning of a new era for the Catholic Church. It was a time of transition, a shift toward a more inclusive and engaged faith. People from all over the world eagerly watched, waiting to see how Pope Francis II would lead the Church in the years to come. As the day came to a close and the sun set over St. Peter's Square, the world stood still, filled with anticipation. Pope Francis II had stepped into his role with a heart full of love and a vision for a better world. His journey had only just begun, but already he had touched millions of lives. His message was clear: the Church had entered a new era, one centered on faith, unity, and a commitment to making the world a better place.